Hey, it's Chrissy B, your friendly neighborhood journalist. Hey, it's Chrissy B, your friendly neighborhood journalist in Good Morning America. Thank you guys for tuning in to our very first episode of Black News. Shout out to MTS Network, first off, for having us. For having the show, as well as being the home for several streaming shows and movies and documentaries and everything. So you guys really need to go check out the website. The whole goal of Black News is just to bring you guys any headlines, any local news, any national news that you may kind of have gotten swept under the rugs or you might not have heard about. And we even got some popular trending topics as well. So we're going to go ahead and get into it because we have a whole bunch of topics to cover today. And like I said, I am Chrissy B. And today, the B stands for bleach, blonde, bad, built body. I don't know if y'all know. Have y'all been watching the news? Jasmine Crockett, she's a Dallas representative. And it kind of got spicy in a Congress meeting. What was it, Thursday?
Yeah.
With Marjorie Greene she said something slick about her eyelashes. There was an insult made, and things got real. So the exact quote was they were going back and forth, and she said, "I feel like your fake eyelashes are messing up what you're reading." That's what Marjorie Greene told Crockett, and no one told her that she was wrong. They kind of it didn't have to get removed from the conversation. She didn't have to apologize or anything like that. And she said that, isn't that a direct assault against personalities, which I don't think that you can say that whenever there's the meetings, right? You can't directly, you can't come for each other.
You're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to come for each other. And if it does happen, somebody is supposed to step in and be like, hey, that's not cool. But that's not what happened. So nobody stepped in. Nobody told her she was out of line. There was no point of order called or nothing like that. So Crockett asked, and I quote, "I'm curious to better understand your ruling. If somebody on this committee started talking about somebody's bleach, blonde, bad built butch body, that wouldn't be engaging in personalities either, would it?" And that's where things went south.
It got spicy.
It got real spicy. A lot of people were saying that was not classy, that she should have been better than that. But how you feeling? How do you feel about that?
I feel like she knew exactly what she was doing to get a response. And I think it was pretty jacked up that they let Marjorie Taylor Greene's comment slide, and they wouldn't let Jasmine's comment slide. Like, nah, don't come for me. I didn't send for you.
Right. And then they were like that she was too harsh and whoop. But I don't know. I was always told that you don't get to hit nobody and then complain about how hard they hit you back.
Facts.
Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your words to yourself.
Facts.
And so, that's all that happened to me. For me, it just looked like, don't hang with the big dogs if you pee like a puppy. Should have kept your comment to yourself, sis. I'm all for it. Stop being disrespectful. Like we are not our ancestors. Everybody is not just gonna keep on letting you disrespect. So energy was given.
It was.
The energy was very much so given. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Shout out, Crockett. Do your thing. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to this FDA missing the deadline. So you guys know what the FDA is, right? The Food and Drug Administration. So they have missed a deadline to propose a ban on the chemicals that are cancer linked inside of hair relaxers for Black women. Well, men use them too. But so I don't know when's the last time I even used a perm or had a relaxer in my hair. But I know growing up back in the Gap, we all had perms. That was just everybody had relaxers. And so it wasn't until I was an adult and just educated myself on the chemicals and things inside of these that it was like, that's probably not a good thing to be putting that in our hair. So basically the chemicals that are inside of these things they're trying to ban are formaldehyde. I don't know if y'all know what that is. Isn't that in embalming fluid?
I'm not even sure.
That's definitely in.
I wonder if that's the stuff that can make a perm melt a Coke can, because...
Yes. And, so the texturized perms are definitely harmful, and the FDA are actually the ones that said that they were, but now we're waiting on the FDA. Like, you guys said that you guys were going to propose this ban last October. You said in April that we were going to go ahead and go through with it, and it wasn't going to be allowed to sell anymore. And now they done went ghost. They ain't said nothing else about it. What are we in, May now? They said in October, like I said, that the ban will be the ban will ban all the chemicals used in every single relaxer. And actually, there's a lot of lawsuits being filed on some of the popular, I guess, cosmetic lines that use it. Revlon is in it, L'Oreal is in it, and then there's a couple of smaller brands that are in it. And so they reached out to the representatives to both of them, and it's crazy because Revlon said that they don't believe that the science reports that there's a link between the chemicals in their stuff and cancer. So basically, Revlon is saying we ain't got the shit in our perms. We just saying we don't think that that's what's giving y'all all cancer. And L'Oreal was like, shit, we don't even use that, so y'all not talking to us, ban the perms all you want to. And so you got two different people kind of coming at it in two different ways, like, but neither of them are taking responsibility for it. Both of them are kind of trying to flip the bill. But like I said, according to research, over 35,000 women of color that they've been testing for the last 10 years have had signs of increased uterine cancer in those that use relaxers regularly. So there is a link and there is a connection, and so that's what made the ban. But FDA, where y'all at? Because perms are still on the shelves, people are still buying them, and there's still not a lot of education out there about the perms. Because I'm pretty sure if you put on there that this is causing cancer, people probably wouldn't buy it as much because we have that Surgeon General warning on cigarettes, do we not? So I feel like if you're going to leave it up, tell the truth about what it's doing to people.
And I mean, on the real, people of color aren't even the only ones that use relaxers, you know what I'm saying? So that affects everybody that uses them for whatever reason they're using them for.
Yeah, very much so true. But yeah, I just feel like just now, like you said, whenever I saw the documentary about a perm being able to melt a Coke can, it was just like, we're put those in our toddlers' hair and in our, you know what I mean? We are putting these in our own heads. Like, it's just time to take that stuff off the shelf, period.
Now we all looking like why we bald around the edges.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why, because when we was kids, our mamas done burnt our shit out. Like,
exactly. And so, you know, and that's exactly what I was going to touch on, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's, you know, we grew up and we always heard that girl that was like, my hair ain't never grew past my ear because my mama put a perm in it, and we were like, girl, stop. But it's true. That's really what's happening. It's cutting off the ability to grow the hair faster because we're killing the roots up there. And so that's why everyone's hair kind of stopped in the 80s and 90s. Everybody's hair kind of stopped up here. So it's true. So leave them perms alone because, you know, they break in our hair and they got cancerous chemicals in it, and the FDA has not done anything about it. So moving right along, we're going to keep on into the same kind of cosmetic what the fuckery. We're going to talk about Euphoria. Euphoria is a brand. It's a cosmetic brand that makes foundations and everything else. I think the brand is only about 5 or 6 years, but it is in the headlines because a beauty content creator that goes by Gorilla George? How we say her name? We just gonna call her G George.
So please don't give me the line.
Sorry, don't come for me about these names. I'm bad with names. We're gonna call her Miss George, but she's a content creator on TikTok. She's got about 1.4 million followers, so I do want to give you your props, and I'm not trying to butcher your name, so please just tell me how to say it. But anyways, so she reviews everybody's makeup. That's her thing. She wants to see who's got the good makeup. She's got a big old following. So she reviewed this makeup brand, and first she received the Date Night Skin Tint Serum, and it dropped its shades, and she was just basically saying like it's a cool makeup line, whatever, it's pretty, but it doesn't have any shades that represent us. Like the shades kind of stop off a little bit. And so, you know, they didn't necessarily reach back out to her, but they did accommodate, and they did add more shades to their line, you know, to accommodate us. But they are facing backlash because the makeup's deep pigmented shades of black foundation are resembling what one influencer is calling blackface. Baby, listen, so when I saw it, at first I was like, let me see how it looks on somebody, blah, blah, blah. So she does the video of it, whatever, and this makeup shit just looks like flat black paint. And I'm trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but it looked like black paint. And she even does a video. She pours out some black paint onto something, and then she pours that makeup. And you can't tell the difference. And you know how makeup has, like, it's got the undertones and other shit in it so that it accommodates the tones of your face.
They must have missed it.
Baby, this is black paint. This is the color of this. This is the color of my phone, of my shirt.
And the background, because the background is real black.
Ooh, baby, listen. And so I'm pretty sure you guys can see the picture behind us for context, so you can see. So she said that that the name of this color is 600. You guys can go Google it. You can look it up yourself. It is crazy. She did a whole review on it. She puts the jet black paint on her face, and it's almost identical. She puts paint on one side of her face, and she puts the foundation on the other side, and it's identical. So what do you think about that? Do you think that it was being funny?
You know, I don't think that some of these brands really take the time to research people of color skin and really understanding the undertones. Because I mean, some of us got red, some of us got yellow, you know what I'm saying? So it's really not one size fit all. And I think they probably rushed this because something was said about not having enough shades. Instead of doing their due diligence to really color match their shades, they was just like, oh, let me drop something real fast because somebody brought attention to it.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't want to be in the spotlight or, you know, receive backlash. But this is 10 times worse than not having anything at all.
Yes,
you should have had nothing.
Now this looks like real. You want some makeup? Some black paint for you. You want to be included so bad.
This is Halloween makeup right here.
And the other shades, it's like, when you see the progression of the shade color, it was like, y'all went from brown to... There was no in between. Y'all wrong
from 0 to 100
real quick. And for nothing. And for nothing. Do better, Euphoria. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Last year around this time, a Missouri teen knocked on a door. He was looking for his brothers, and he knocked on the wrong door, and he ended up, unfortunately, being shot. So, now, Ralph, well, he's speaking out on how his life has changed since, you know, all of that's happened to him and his brothers. And so this is just our, kind of just our look on mental health and things like that. So when it happened, he was 16, and he was shot in the head at very, very close range. All he did was ring the wrong doorbell. He was looking for his baby brothers. He says now he's much more introverted. He ignores texts and calls from his loved ones. He didn't go to his prom because he didn't want anybody to ask him about the shooting. So apparently a year later, it's like, you know, everybody is still talking about it from where he's from. He says that he just doesn't want to flash out and just go off on people because he's so tired of answering the questions and things of that nature. He says he struggles with an array of feelings: anger, fear, hope, sadness, compassion. He says it's a bumpy journey. When something reminds me of what happened, it's like I'm negative. I'm aware of my emotions like anger and disgust, but then there's good and there's bad days. So just hoping things get a lot better for him, because that's got to be something really, really traumatic. Like, you're not even doing anything wrong. You're just looking for your brothers and somebody shoots you. Did the old man go to jail? They wanted the immediate arrest of him. I know that, but I'm not sure if he went to jail. I know his trial is October 7th of this year.
That's such a long time out.
So that when they're not in trial, are they not in jail, or how does that work?
Some people are, but it just depends on if they get a bond or not. Mm-hmm. And then some people have to sit in jail until their trial, and really that just be like people of color that they really do that to, honestly.
But wouldn't that just be like a super duper slap in the face, not only for him, for his family, but like it's like this guy did this. Yeah. Like, everybody knows he did it. His name is Andrew Lester, by the way. Everybody knows that he did this shit. And this kid is traumatized and doesn't even want to. Yes, he's an older man.
Gonna say he probably wasn't in his right mind or some bullshit. No, you knew what you was doing, sir.
There's been several protests for his immediate arrest, and he's still not arrested. That's crazy. If it was my family member, baby, like, we would make you just as uncomfortable in your environment as you've made us every single day, because this is a baby, and now he had so many different dreams, and so but
he missed his prom. Like, he's not even enjoying being a kid now. Like, this is something that you've done that's probably going to traumatize him for the rest of his life.
And that's what he's saying. And he says because of this, he wants to reach out to kids that feel like they don't have a voice, that feel like they can't speak. But he feels like he can't speak.
Right.
And that's crazy. That's a crazy, crazy journey to be on. That's really, really sad. So our hearts and things go out to you, Mr. Ralph.
For sure.
to a Boston elementary school that is teaching preschool children Creole and English, basically bridging the gap, the language barrier between the kids and their immigrant parents. Because I guess that's one of the biggest areas with a lot of immigrants and things like that, and no one understands English. So the school, and the name of the school is the Tucson Academy. It's teaching these languages to help with the language barrier, pretty much. So whenever you get to go to that school, whenever you're from the ages of 3 all the way up to 6, you get to be in a dual language program, and your parents get to learn, and it also instills pride and empowerment. Instead of telling them that they can't speak their language anymore, they're accommodating them, and the teachers are all bilingual and speak it with them as well. Because I know that here, because I taught for a while, here we spoke the different languages that the children spoke, but we also encouraged them just predominantly kind of speaking English. But that's cool that they're incorporating both languages. Like, it's okay for you all to speak both languages. You don't really hear about that a lot. And this is like, Boston is a city with the third largest Haitian population in America. So that's big because there's a school there, and hopefully that catches on, and a lot of other schools start doing that as well.
That's dope.
Did you have any kids at school? Like, when I went to school, we had a lot of kids that didn't speak English. They just spoke Spanish at all. And I remember in my early ages of school, and I'm probably dating myself, those kids just kind of got pushed by because all we had was ESL. But ESL was just one teacher that only knew Spanish 1. And so those kids just kind of got pushed around, pushed through. And it was like there was definitely a language barrier, like all the way up until high school, until they caught on with us. And so that's really, really cool that they're doing that. So shout out to education, and shout out to you guys seeing a need and feeling that need. I love to see it.
Yes.
So what's next? The Walmart? What we got going on with Walmart? Yes, we do. Okay, so there's a Walmart Deli employee, and he's making the headlines because he is aspiring to make the Olympic team on his own bag, all on his own. His name is Dylan Beard. He is an unsponsored athlete, and he's trying to pay his own way to the competitions in Paris while training in North Carolina State University. He works at Walmart. His coworkers and supervisors have nothing but good things to say about his work ethic and his determination. So basically, he competed, I want to say, back in February. And when he competed back in February, he kind of blew everybody away. He was a hurdler. He's a full-time employee, so he competed on his own bag. And I don't know if you guys know how expensive just like applying and all of that stuff goes. But he's doing it on Walmart. So pop your shit, man. But he got third fastest hurdler in the world.
Oh, wow. Walmart better sponsor that young man.
You hear me? Like, Walmart, where y'all at?
Yeah, what y'all doing? Why y'all not supporting your own?
In the world. Third fastest hurdler in the world, which landed him a spot on the U.S. Olympic track fields in June in Eugene, Oregon. So he's got to make it there in June. So that's what he's trying to do right now. And it's like expensive as hell. So if you guys is watching and y'all want to sponsor him, reach out, look up Dylan Bird. I'm pretty sure he's got GoFundMe's and everything going like that. But that's a dope story. And like, that just goes to show you that we have hella talent. It's not talent that we lack in our community. It's funds that we lack.
And support.
Yeah. Definitely support. Because this man, third fastest in the world, he should have been at the Olympics already. And that's just my opinion on it. Who we got next? Tiffany?
No.
Tiffany Haddish. Y'all know who Tiffany Haddish is. She is the comedian, actress. She's played in a lot of movies. She's played, she goes on tour doing her comedy shows. She has recently been in news because she told a reporter during an interview that when people troll her on media, she does something kind of weird. She tracks down their information, contact information, phone numbers, addresses, and things like that. And she calls them on the phone. And she asks them why they fucking with her. Has it ever been that serious that if you were trolled online that you would?
I think in this day and age, people should know off top that there are hella internet trolls just purely there to mess with people. Like, why even give your time and energy to any of that? Like, that's all people seem to do these days is like picket people online because it's online, you know what I'm saying? Like, they feel like they're never going to be seen, you know, they're never going to interact with. So kudos to her for standing up for herself.
Girl.
Like, it's wild, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that just goes to show you, like, even on the internet, you can't just say whatever you want to say to people and expect people to be okay with it. Like,
somebody gonna
hand you your ass. Like,
and that's definitely what she's doing. She said that people are calling her pedophile and not funny. And she said, sometimes I get so mad that I go through the phone and I just call them. Like, could you imagine, like, we talking shit online, and then your phone rings and it's the fucking Rock, and you're like, yeah, what's up? What's good? I got your phone. What's up? Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know what I would do if, like, all of a sudden Missy Elliott is on the phone and she's like, so you talking shit? And I'm, huh? That would just be like a crazy ass moment.
I really want to know what people's responses are when she calls them.
They probably don't even think it's real, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if she's like, yo, bitches, it's Tiffany. Like, what is she saying? Or is she just like acting like it's not her? Like, you better stop talking about Tiffany online. Like, what do you even say when you get these people on the phone?
And then you're going to sound like an idiot. Like, you get online and be like, yo, Tiffany Haddish called me about some bullshit I said online.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, are you serious?
Tiffany didn't
that's
call
not
you
even a real thing. Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's crazy. But yeah, she says that she ultimately hired a digital forensic analyst. Now, baby.
Damn.
It's deep for her.
Okay.
So she then hired a digital forensic analyst. I didn't even know that was a thing. She told LA Times that she created a Finsta, and she goes by Sarah, and she gonna engage with her trolls.
Not Sarah.
So if y'all see
of
Sarah,
all the names she could have
if y'all see Sarah defending Tiffany, if y'all see Sarah defending Tiffany, y'all already know what's up. All right, twin, talk your shit. Deal with folks how you deal with them. 10 years later, and Flint, Michigan is still fighting for a clean water system. What the fuck? Could you imagine living in a place and for 10 years of your life, you don't have clean water?
That's wild. Isn't there a documentary on Netflix right now about like the company that was like poisoning the water and they knew? And so this like lawyer literally spent like his entire career like fighting this company, and I can't think of what the name of it is. I literally watched it a couple of weeks ago, and it was wild. Like, people were getting cancer, people were dying, and this company was lying about like the amount of like poison that was being washed off into the water, even though they knew. So they basically were like lying about what it was, and then they tried to cover their tracks. It was like a whole thing.
And for Flint, or just in general?
I think it was somewhere in that area. I don't know if it was Flint specifically, but I wonder if like that like trickled down into that.
That sounds like
made
that
it
Watergate stuff.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find it and send it to you because that was wild.
But yeah, so the people that are now, you know how that goes. A little bit of the kumbaya and the sad, let's all hold hands for Flint, it wore off. And that's literally what the people are saying. They're saying 10 years ago, politicians and advocates flooded towns and smiled and took pictures and made several promises to make changes at the state of the water crisis here. And where y'all at? The people are asking, where are y'all at? Everybody stood up for us and fought for Flint. We need y'all to do that again. There was a lawsuit settled with the state for $626 million, but no one has seen any of those funds still.
That's crazy.
The mayor says that they're on their last leg of progress to see what's going on and to ensure the better water systems and da-da-da-da-da. Baby, y'all been saying that for 10 years. It don't take that long to clean water. It does not take that long to clean water, because how come don't no one else have those kind of problems of that severity in the United States? Like, what are y'all doing? And how come the rest of us aren't like rallying on some, hey, what are they doing?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so they still don't have a clean water supply.
I just can't even imagine living in a place where water is not even safe to drink. I mean, I'm sure there's shit in water everywhere, you know
right?
But to that extent, like, that's crazy. Like,
what do you even do?
You gotta bathe in this. You gotta give this to your kids. You know what I'm saying? You cooking meals. Like, that's nuts. Like,
it says
that
it's just contaminated. That they say a few facts about Flint, Michigan is that the majority of the population is black. It's an impoverished city. The untreated water became contaminated when the pipes and everything corroded. For years to follow, the water supply has still been contaminated with lead. With fucking lead? Like,
isn't that what like? Anyway, carry on.
yes, but it shows how poor cities of color and go unseen by the government and its mismanagement. Like I said, y'all won all that money. How come the city still doesn't have water? That's crazy. They won the lawsuit.
What did they do with the money?
Where is the money? That's crazy. Do better, Flint. We're going to go ahead and move on. Justice has been served for the victims of the Goon Squad trial. All of the officers involved in that have been convicted. I have another news segment called Strange But True News, and I've been following this trial in extensity. Pretty much, it's a whole bunch of bullshit-ass cops in Mississippi for a couple of decades that have just been fucking with people for nothing. Like, just dead ass fucking with people. So this case in particular, they went into these people's home, banged on the door in the middle of the night or whatever. They said that a white woman called and said that she was in distress and that they was in her house and that this wasn't their house. They came into the house. Of course, there's no white woman there. These are just a couple of guys there at their own home that they owned or was renting, but it was their property. When the cops was in there, one of the cops, after they're messing with the guys, they're fucking with them, they're beating them up. They accidentally shoot one of them in the face.
How do you accidentally shoot somebody in the face?
They were trying to scare him with the gun.
Oh.
So they're trying to scare him with the gun or whatever. They accidentally shoot him in the face. The only reason that this is even a trial is because he didn't die.
Oh,
because when he ended up not dying, now he's, telling them. And so these guys, the cops, tell that his friend shot him in the face with a BB gun. When he goes to the hospital and everything like that, he's been shot with a BB gun and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's not really what happened.
BB guns don't do that type of damage.
So the next part is super duper graphic of all the things that were just listed. It's Googleable. You can go Google it. All the things that were listed that they done to these people. They pulled their genitals out. They were slapping them in the face. They were just being really, really sexual and gross with them. Like I said, they shot one of them. They beat them. They were spitting on them and all kinds of other stuff. So whenever their stuff went to trial, then a lot of other people started saying, they did that shit over here too. They did that stuff
as they should.
too. And so a lot of
now
people,
there's proof.
Yes, and so now a lot of people are coming out, and then there was even some cops that were like that they left the squad because these niggas was just how these motherfuckers was acting. The cops themselves gave themselves that name, the Goon Squad.
So here's the thing. When you said Goon Squad at first, I thought you was talking about some some gang-related shit. Like, no, not the police.
It's the law enforcement.
That's crazy.
So I got the names because we're going to put these niggas on blast. Brett McAlpin got 20 years state sentence. He was the one that shot. He was one that shot the guy. Joshua Hartfield got 15 years. Christian Deldman got 25 years. Hunter Elwood got 45 years. Jeffrey Middleton got 20 years. And Daniel Opendike got 20 years as well. So basically,
they all sound like unmelanated people.
And they are. And they are very much so. Their harassment and things didn't just go on with melanated people. They were just horrible humans. And that a lot of other folks came out. One guy said that it was a highway. He pulled him out on the highway, pulled him out of his car, and when he pulled him out of his car, he banged his arms. He slammed his arms and his head into the door, slammed the door on him. And then again, with the genitals, I'm not understanding why. But
like they got some
rubbed his dick in his face. You're right. Rubbed dick and balls in the face for nothing, and that his partner put his butt in his face. I wish I was making this shit up, but you can go Google all of it. And I just keep on mentioning that because, baby, why? Why y'all keep putting y'all dicks and asses in these men's
faces? If you gay, just say that. It's 2024. Right, who gives a fuck?
Like why? Like. What are you doing? Just rubbing dicks on folks' foreheads and shit and running off into the sunset? But, so they've all been convicted, thank God. Of course, we already know that there's a whole rabbit hole. It's way more than 6. It's way more than 6. If a whole squad is doing that shit and the whole town is scared, it's way more than 6 folks that need to be convicted. But those 6 definitely got convicted.
Hopefully this incident gives people the courage, like if it keeps happening, to say something about it so they can catch the other people that's involved, because that's crazy.
The one that got shot in the face, well, the one that didn't get shot in the face, he forgave all the officers. The one that got shot in the face said, fuck that, I don't forgive none of y'all motherfuckers, and none of y'all motherfuckers are sorry. The only reason we're even standing here is because I didn't die. And I feel that. And I feel that shit.
That's real.
So prayers and everything to the family is of the victims involved. Everybody else, y'all need to have somebody rubbing their dicks and stuff in y'all's faces too.
Well, they got about 20 years that's going to happen a whole lot.
Where's the dick facery? Okay, this is some woo child news. A pastor is facing criticism after telling a member of his congregation to hush during praise and worship. Pastor, his name is Kenyon Henderson. He is a Christian Fellowship member. A lot of folks kind of came for him because there's a video, and it's a song. Y'all know what church is. Y'all know what praise and worship is. It's a video. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Everybody is singing and praising and doing what they do, and there's a lady in the background, and she's yelling out of turn a little bit every 15, 20 seconds. Eventually he keeps on walking and he keeps on singing in his little quiet voice, and he silences her in the name of Jesus. That was his exact words. He was like, hush, silence in the name of Jesus. And when she wouldn't hush, he was pretty much on some hush shit. A lot of people are saying that, that he knows that she was just a distraction and and he was just doing his job to keep everybody on track. A lot of people are saying the opposite, like, who are you, the Holy Ghost helper? You don't know? You don't know? Like,
how is that any different from when Pastor Shirley Murdoch, is that her name? When she was singing and they was trying to sing with her and she was like, this is a solo?
It's giving ego to me. I left the church a long time ago, so my views on it might be a little bit different. But it gave, when I saw it, even his explanation. I sat through his whole explanation, so I wasn't trying to be biased. His explanation was pretty much, she do this every week, and every week we tell her that she need to calm it down because that's not this kind of party, and that I can tell the difference between a distraction and when somebody wants attention, and I can tell the difference between whenever the Lord is really
how you know what somebody.
And that's what I'm on, because I grew up in church, and baby, how? Because I always we were the little kids that it did not matter how. What was funny, you did not make fun of the people that was feeling something. Yeah. That was feeling something that you didn't necessarily feel. That wasn't on you to be like, oh, sister so-and-so is faking it because she just ran down the aisle last week or whatever. Like, that ain't on me. That's on whoever you praying to decipher if you're faking or not. But I think that we're in a crazy world when if it's not in our
Christians. Something wrong with the Christians.
But it's like it didn't fit the aesthetic. You yelling too loud. I need you to hush. It rubbed me the wrong way, guys. I didn't like it at all.
Religion in general rubs me the wrong way.
It does. And that's why
it's not about who you pray to anymore.
Right.
It's not about who you believe in.
And it was like, and in the video gave that. She didn't sound like everybody else was sounding, is what it gave to me. And he hushed her. And his excuse was that she was a distraction, but she don't sound like nobody at no other church that I've ever grown up in. And we would have been wrong as heck. I could never see a pastor going up to one of the elders and being like, hush.
Okay.
Silence in the name of Jesus. Yeah. Maybe Jesus didn't tell her to be quiet.
Okay.
What are you doing?
How you gonna interrupt her conversation with whoever she prays to? Like, how do you stand in the way of that? Like, who are you to determine how somebody is supposed to worship and praise whoever it is that they worship? Like,
if somebody is really rocking and saying that that's how they praise God, 2 + 2 is 5. Praise him how you praise him. That's not my business. If that's how you decide to show praise, I'm not about to stop you. I felt like when we started putting cameras and stuff in churches.
Cameras, ATM machines, locking the door when collection time comes around.
It just doesn't fit your church's aesthetic. And just say that. But don't put it on the big guy. Don't put it on big guy that he said for her to stop worshiping like that. Because that's definitely not what the book, if that's what you believe, says. It says that even if you sound crazy, that he's got a mixing board up there and he gonna make it sound lit. So I don't know, Pastor. You on your own with that one. You was on your own with that one with me. Okay, so let's move on to Florida. We got some more shout out to Black people. I love to see it. We got 2 Black twin sisters from Florida, and they are going to be the valedictorian and the salutatorian for their graduating class this year, which is lit. So Hannah and Sanaya Mall are from Tallahassee, Florida, and they go to Goodby High School. Like I said, they got the highest GPAs in their whole school. From grade school all the way up, they've been straight A and B students, and so that is lit. So we did have to give them a shout out for that because we don't see that a lot now.
That's dope.
Super dope. Black man is serving a life sentence for stealing $9 in 1982.
That's crazy.
How does that even happen?
Because it was 1982.
Okay, so 62-year-old Black man from Alabama, his name is Willie Simmons. He has been locked up since 1982. So for the last 38 years, he's been locked up due to Alabama's habitual offender law. So he was an Army vet who had become addicted to drugs while serving a tour overseas.
That's over 38 years now.
Right.
It's over.
Oh, that is?
It is.
You're right. You're very much right. But an Army vet who's addicted. He was addicted to drugs back then, and he was serving a tour overseas. He was 25. He came back and he was incarcerated, and he stole somebody's wallet. He was fighting back and forth with them or whatever, and all the wallet had in it was $9. And since he had already had 2 offenses against him, he got a life sentence for that. He hasn't had a visitor since 2005, and that's when his sister passed. So he's been locked up this whole time, and he doesn't deny doing what he did, but he's just saying like that's crazy that I'm still in here
for $9. I mean, I know it's the act because you robbed somebody, and that's terrible, but I wonder why he was robbing the person to begin with. Like
drugs.
Well, yes. What led him to the drugs?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He's a vet.
Being a veteran, you know what I'm saying? You're not getting the help that you need, you know what I'm saying?
And in the 80s, we weren't even vetting vets for mental illness or what it did to them and the psych of all of it.
And I actually I was at a mental health seminar yesterday, and they were talking about how a lot of the veterans, turn to drugs because of the distrust that they have with the military and the VA and all that kind of stuff. Like, y'all treat these people so bad, but you put them in these situations, and for whatever reason they join the military, because people join the military for an exponential amount of reasons, especially in the Black and brown community. Mm-hmm. We get disowned. We have nowhere else to go. We've graduated school. You know what I'm saying? And so not having a path or support or being able to, figure out what the next step is, a lot of people go to the military. But they treat you like shit.
And not only that, I mean, even in the recruitment process, because it's something that I went through with school, and then just having children, all sons. I got 7 sons. So, I want to know what you guys what are you saying during this recruitment process? Because exactly what you're saying, folks are signing up fast.
It sounds, and I actually I talked to a recruiter like 4 years ago, and it sounded wonderful.
You're highlighting all the greatness, but you don't even touch on the mental illness. You don't even touch on the backlash of PTSD. I'm dyslexic. Y'all got what I was saying, though. But you know what I mean? You're not even covering any of the negative stuff. You're just telling these kids, oh, you're going to get...
Or what really happens once you get to boot camp.
Right.
All the sexual trauma, all the violence, you know what I'm saying? And then the lady was saying that the one thing that they do in the military is they train these service members to block out every emotion except for anger. So then when you discharge them, or, they the case maybe, they spent X amount of years only being able to feel angry. And so now you're out and you can't understand why you get angry at everything, or why, the only thing you're able to express is anger, is because they're training them to be that way. And you're not, there's no...
You've given everybody an off switch, but you haven't given them an on switch.
Facts. Like, when you leave jail, you go to a halfway house to get reacclimated to going back into the regular society. Why is that not a thing for the military?
Right.
Why is there not something for after the military? Let us help you get reacclimated to just be a regular citizen again. Like, why do y'all just let them go and then it's like, oh well?
I definitely agree with all of that, and that's exactly what happened to this guy. I mean, they were just pretty much like, he's an Army vet that's on drugs, and they put him in jail for life for $9. There's people walking around here
that have done worse.
Walking around here.
Didn't Governor Gummy just pardon somebody for killing somebody?
And he did.
Oh, okay.
And
I digress. Okay.
But you know, that color system, that color change changed the world. We're going to go ahead and move on. A landmark study of cancer in Black women launches in 20 states, aiming to be the largest one ever. So basically, last month they launched, the American Cancer Society launched one of its biggest studies to kind of see why Black women are the ones that are kind of more subject to getting cancer. And we're doing the study in 20 states, and it's going to, the aim is to follow certain age groups between 25 and 35 for a number of 2 decades, I want to say, and just see if their diets and their environments and the social everything, to see everything that affects, to see whether or not what's affecting our cancer rates and our death rates, because cancer rates in America have declined in the last few years, but the rate of cancer deaths in Black women we still have the lowest survival rates, even with the decline in everybody.
The healthcare system,
of course,
they don't care about people of color.
Of course, breast cancer is still killing Black women at a rate of 40% higher than most white women, and
they probably can't even afford the treatments.
I love that we're having this study.
But we know the answers already.
We can save y'all a lot of money and tell y'all why we're dying faster. The money, the resources, the education, we're lacking all of that. There's not a mammogram center that's just for scanning breast in the Black community. You got to go all the way to another area, another part. That's what it is. We don't have the resources. So
and then those that do like the mobile trucks and this and that, like you have to go to an event or something to get that. Like they ain't just pulling up in the hood and be like, we care about your health. We want to give you this screening, blah, blah, blah. But shout out to Black Heart Association, because they really do a lot for the Black community. So shout out to them.
Talk to them. Shout out to them. But yeah, and then you got that. And then you say you are able to get your diagnosis and you get and now we need you to do this. Houseway. A lot of people are under the poverty lines that are the ones that are
further in debt. They end up homeless.
Can't even afford to change your diet, let alone the medicine or everything else.
Healthy food is sky high.
It is, because baby, sometimes the McDouble is a lot,
probably all you can afford,
cheaper than to eat healthier, which is also crazy.
And then you got kids. Let's not mention that, because people assume that people of color, just because they have kids, they're on some type of government assistance. But statistically, non-melanated women are the most people that are utilizing assistance.
42%.
Huh. Okay.
And there's way more government assistance that is categorized as government assistance that we aren't categorizing. We're just talking about food stamps and we're crying about food stamps, but there's a lot of other government assistance that takes a lot more that we are not the ones receiving. Mm-hmm. According to the study as well, they're saying that Black women are 60% more likely to die of cervical cancer and nearly twice as likely to die of endometrial cancers, according to the National Cancer Institute. So a lot of these studies are basically saying that even though the medicine and the research and everything is improving, we are still dying at a higher rate.
And you know what else could be a cause of that? We're going to just give y'all all the answers at this point.
Right.
When we go to the doctor and we're complaining about this hurts or this is abnormal or this is happening, like the doctors don't be taking us seriously.
Not taken seriously. Our pain is not taken seriously. I can attest to that. I literally told my doctors that my epidural was not working, that I can feel everything because of the fact that I've had 7 children. It was my last son. I told my doctors I can feel everything. I can feel all the pain. I still feel like I'm having a baby. This feels nothing like them episodes of Friends when folks is talking and don't feel nothing. I feel it all. They didn't believe me. They kept saying that I felt pressure. I was like, no, I feel baby. I feel a baby. They didn't believe me until it got to the point, because I was getting my tubes tied, of course, and so they used the epidural from that. That medicine was not working. When he went to cut my stomach, I screamed at the top of my lungs, and I can't see him, and my hands are cut. I'm like, you're on that little board thing. I screamed so freaking loud, and they're like, you feel that? And I'm like, no fucking shit. They had to put me to sleep, but they don't listen when we're saying we feel pain and things like that. They don't, and it's proven. But a lot of these questions and a lot of the things that they're studying, all they got to do is walk through a few neighborhoods.
All they got to do is ask.
They can get these.
What are you studying for? Just ask us.
They can get these answers already, but they want to know how come we're dying faster and how come everybody else isn't. So, shout out to a few years of the research that they need to collect for that, apparently. So we're going to go ahead and move on off of the Cancer Society. 6-year-old girl from New Jersey scores 138 on her IQ test, which is almost as high as Einstein. I love little smart babies. I love little smart babies of color, especially. But her name is Declan Lopez. She's from Dover, New Jersey. She's a kindergartner at her elementary school. She joined Mensa, which is Society for Bright Minds. And she reads at a 4th grade level, and her favorite subject is physics. I can't remember anything about physics.
I don't think I ever even took a physics class.
I can't remember anything about physics. But yeah, so she's making the Guinness Book of World Record for scoring the highest on the test, up there with Einstein. And at 6, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Do you know what the average test of an IQ test is? The average score of an IQ test?
It ain't that.
It's like 50 something.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's down there. It's down there. So okay, little one, go you.
Okay.
I'm proud. I love to see that. Moving right along to education, keeping it right there with the black kids. The New York governor regrets saying something very, very stupid that she shouldn't have said while she was trying to raise funds and support for communities. New York governor said that black kids in the Bronx don't even know what a computer is. Kathy Hochul says she regrets saying that. And right now this is exactly what she said. Right now we have young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer means.
What year do you think we're living in?
Who, Kathy? Who don't know what a computer is, Kathy? In the Bronx and wherever. What little black kids don't know what a computer is? Like, sometimes I'm just... what do y'all think we be walking around here doing?
What kind of lives do they think we live? Like, are we cave people or something?
I just don't... It's like, and every single time I see these headlines and stuff, it's like, how do you really think like this? And it's not that you regretted saying it. You regretted saying that shit on camera. You regret that we heard
really
you
how
said
you
that,
feel.
because that's how you feel. And it's really, really great that you were advocating for black people, and it's really, really great that you were advocating for the inner city and all of that. And I'm gonna give you your props for that. But you can't. There is no way in 2024 that you think that black kids don't even know what a computer is. Why was that even in your speech, sis? You had to write that out.
School?
I had to write this stuff out like 13 times. Why was that even in your speech? You didn't have nobody that you could have bounced that speech off of that told you that black kids know what computers are?
Have you been to a school lately?
And that was her whole proposal was.
But scratch that. What did the kids do during COVID when they had to do virtual learning? How did they do that? I'm just not understanding. Like, you could have got that funding for those kids without diminishing and belittling them. Yeah.
Y'all don't got to do that. That's like, you don't have to belittle the neighborhoods to get the funding. You don't have to make it look like these neighborhoods are ignorant. You don't have to make it look like these kids are dumb. You don't have to do none of that. Just ask for your fucking funding. Just ask folks to support. That folks tried to come to her rescue and say, one person said, yeah, her heart was in the right place. Her words just wasn't. Another person said her remark was harmful, deeply misinformed, and genuinely appalling. And I agree with you, Amanda. It was, Amanda. It was. That's just how I feel about that. Let's go on. This one is some strange but true news. A routine welfare check on a civilian turned into a murder confession to a cold case from 2016. So this guy was basically pulled over because his family members had said, "Hey, if you see my nephew driving this car, can you guys please check on him? He's mentally unstable, and we just want to. If y'all see him on the highway, we're looking for him." Basically, all that was. He wasn't about to be arrested. He didn't do anything wrong. This year, I gotta say this year, he didn't do anything wrong. They weren't looking for him because he was violent or anything like that. Family was just looking for him. So he gets pulled over. And then when the cop is talking to him, he just starts confessing to a murder from a cold case from 2016 that he did.
That's crazy.
Out the fucking blue. So now they're like, all right, go ahead, get out the car. So Joseph Beck voluntarily confessed to killing 19-year-old Jennifer Riley Malloy in 2016. The detectives say that Malloy really was found dead in her apartment October 5th, 2016, and that he was one of the suspects back in the day, but then it was just ruled a cold case. And they just went about their business. Like nothing led back to him. There was nothing led back to it being anybody. So it was a cold case. I guess it was heavy on his heart and he just decided to confess.
Yeah. And I know if he willingly confessed it to the police, he had to have told his family members about it. Because ain't no way this young man that went from 2016 to now and ain't said nothing to nobody.
You know what?
So y'all all just turned a blind eye to the fact that he committed a crime. I know he's got some, he's got some disabilities, but still, this is someone's life. This is someone else's child that deserves that closure, and y'all said nothing. In my mind, y'all just as guilty as he is.
Facts. And why y'all have that welfare check? Like, for it to be so serious to call the highway patrol on some, hey, if y'all see him,
why were y'all worried about it? Has he been now crazy living with this on his conscience?
Now that makes a little bit more sense because I don't know a lot of people that I just need to do a
There has to be a reason.
What was the reason?
You're worried about him for a reason. I mean, I understand you could be concerned because he had, he has disabilities or whatever, they said he had, but really.
So he says in full detail, he says that this is what happened. I went to her apartment to assault her, and when I got there, she told me to leave, and I got mad, and I strangled her.
So you went there with the intent to commit a crime and committed a different crime.
So I don't know if he's saying that he meant to SA her, to sexually assault her, but it just says he says I went to assault her. When I got there, she told me to leave, and I got mad and I strangled her.
That's interesting. Why would you use that choice of wording?
So yeah, this is a developing case. Like we said, this just happened like 3-4 days ago. So I will keep you guys posted on what happens next with that. We got a Dakota White, a 7-year-old from Red Oak. Shout out Red Oak. Ain't that like 20-30 minutes away from here?
It is.
Okay, shout out Red Oak. She's one of the fastest kids in the nation. She broke the Junior Olympics records. Okay. So, she is going on, she's another one of our kids that's going on to train and be a part of the Olympics and things like that. She's getting a lot of accolades and things from this spring up until now. So I guess in the spring is whenever she got, whenever they said that she was the fastest in the fastest in the nation. So we're going to be on the lookout for her. You already know who she says that her inspiration is, right?
Let's hear it anyway.
Sha'Carri.
Of course.
Shout out, Sha'Carri. Okay, so love to see it. Love, especially seeing it from this area. That's super duper lit.
But this just goes to show that representation matters.
It does.
You know what I'm saying?
It does. It matters. It matters big time. Who else we got? Who else do we got? This is crazy because it just went viral. He just went viral. Like, I want to say he went viral maybe 4 days ago. Vonnie B went viral 4 days ago. We didn't even know what his profession was when the guy went viral. He went viral for his mugshot. His mugshot went viral on Twitter and on a whole bunch of other social media things, and this is why it went viral, because a whole lot of women, thousands and thousands of women, reposted and retweeted how they would free him and bail him out.
And don't even know what he went to jail for.
Because he was so fine. So yeah, they was like, damn, Vonnie B, free my nigga Vonnie. Everybody was reposting it, and I mean, now we know that he's an up-and-coming rapper and things like that, but here's what's even crazier. Unrelated to all of that, he was gunned down on camera just days ago after going viral for that mugshot. He was robbed and gunned down. I think he was in his car and he was shot. But
wow,
yeah, that's not even. He went viral for being having a handsome mugshot.
Didn't another guy do that like several years ago? Is this like a reoccurring thing now?
There was a pretty girl,
like fine people don't commit crimes,
right? With the pretty eyes or something like that.
It was a guy.
He had real pretty eyes.
He became an actor,
a model.
Yeah, like
girl, like y'all don't do background checks. What the fuck? I'm in the wrong business. But yeah, and then it had the chick, and it was like it listed all the stuff she did, and it was like whatever, it don't even matter. It don't even matter. Give me her bill. What's her bill? And it's like, so you guys are okay?
Y'all need to seek therapy.
I know a lot of people need to unpack that shit. It's a lot to unpack. So I guess prayers for the family and RIP. Moving on to people that did that shit. Diddy. Yes, he did. A video has been released of Sean Diddy Combs beating his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hotel hallway in 2016. First off, that's not funny and it's fucked up and it's really, really sad. But there was a lot of stuff up in the air about how everybody was saying how folks just love to see us talking about him and da-da-da-da-da and blah, 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 blah. But now there's cold hard evident facts that he indeed did do all of the stuff that they said that he was doing.
And it's sad that it took for the video to be released for everybody to be like, well, damn, we was wrong. Like, why y'all didn't just believe this woman when she said it to begin with?
Exactly.
Whether it happened yesterday or in 2016, like, if she got the courage to speak on it, because not a lot of victims do.
Exactly.
Not a lot of survivors do. But she put that out there. She put herself out there, you know, to go back to a vulnerable place that she probably worked extremely hard to get out of. For y'all to be like, nah, that didn't happen. You just, you know, whatever. And then you settled like she owes anything to anybody about the trauma that she has experienced.
Baby, if I went through all of that in my life and I know this motherfucker is not supposed to get some jail time, you gonna give me some of your money then. I'm gonna get something. I'm gonna hit you somewhere. Now, and I don't even think it was more even about the money. I know that the money, I feel like it was putting it in the open. Mm-hmm. But I can't just go out and be like, he hit me.
Yeah.
But if I sue your ass, blogs and everybody, they're
going to be talking about
what happened? And that's going to open the doors for everybody to investigate.
People have been saying little things about him for so long, and nobody's listened.
Exactly. Okay, so, like, I'm not even being funny. Like, I'm a music head, and I remember back in the day, like, there's a song, Keisha Cole and him, Last Night.
And see, that's my jam.
Okay, but go back and listen to that motherfucking outro.
Yeah, as
a teenager, I was like,
wait a minute. I don't ever even play that part. I turned it off after that.
Like, Diddy snapped. For what? Like, because she didn't answer her. Go back and listen to that now.
And then he laughed at the end of it.
Go back and listen to that shit now. Like, Diddy been telling us. But, like, my thing is like, again, I'm a survivor of domestic violence, of severe domestic violence. And everybody's like, well, how come she didn't just leave? If he was doing all of that shit and da-da-da-da-da, how come? Do y'all not remember him blowing up cars and doing this and doing that to people that he didn't love, that he didn't have emotional whatevs contacts with? And clearly on this shit, like, she did try to fucking leave. She did. She was literally running down the hallway trying to get away from the whole point of the video was her trying to leave. So everybody's saying all of that shit about how I don't care what nobody say. All you got to do is leave. It's harder than you think.
It's not. It's that simple.
It's not that simple. And we don't know, like, what he was holding over her head or how he was threatening her. It sucks that, like, she's got to relive all of this stuff, but I'm pretty sure she thought that through. Like, telling my story means I'm going to have to relive it. But I know when I had to retell my story, I knew that I was saving and helping a lot of other people and a lot of other victims, too.
But her husband now, shout out to him.
10 toes behind her.
Shout out to him for advocating not just for her, but for any survivors, anyone who's going through that. Like, he made a post and he shared the hotline phone number and everything. And, like, that's great.
Say something.
Yeah, like, there needs to be more men. Like,
you feel me? Because I feel like, and like, I don't care nothing about no kind of code when it comes down to shit like this. I don't care what you believe in. We can fight about it. I don't care about a code. If you seeing somebody getting their ass beat by somebody, why are you just in there just still sipping your drink and like acting like turning a blind eye to it? Yeah. Like, a lot of the stuff that was happening, there's all kinds of transcripts and shit about how there's 5 or 6 people in the room. How? Couldn't have been my family.
Be Your Truth made a post on Instagram yesterday that said everybody's sharing and talking about this stuff with Cassie, but you're not checking on your homegirl down the street that's getting beat on. Mm-hmm. Why is it that you can make noise about a celebrity, but you can't make noise about somebody you know who needs help?
Exactly. That's so horrible. And like, That's the world that we live in. I remember crying out for help at a supermarket with my nose bleeding, running from a dude, and I thought folks was supposed to pull out the phone and call 911, and they pull out the phone to record the dude chasing me. Like, that's the world we kind of live in. Like, it's like, damn, that's fucked up, but we're so desensitized that we're not, like, after we finish recording this, somebody could probably lose their life because we didn't step in.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of instances that happen like that, and it's like, you see it all the time on the book, folks just laughing about it. Like, it's like, but you have this footage. Was you the one that recorded? Your ass need to be in jail too.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. If you recorded some fucked up shit and you didn't help, you need to be in jail too. I could understand
recording it for proof and evidence.
Right, or because you're scared.
But call somebody afterwards. Or have someone call while you're recording. Like, you're not the only person in the world with a phone. Why is 17 people recording the same thing and ain't nobody calling the police?
Exactly. We don't need that much camera angles for the stuff. And so
when y'all record it, hold the camera still. Damn.
Please.
You gonna put it out there for us to see?
Right.
Can we see it?
And can y'all stop recording with the surveillance cameras that you use at 7-Eleven? Because why does it look like y'all recording Bigfoot on some of this stuff? I don't like it. Get some better cameras. Okay, so this is our last story for the day. A bus crash in Ocala involving a bus of eight farmers, 8 people, and hospitalized dozen else. 8 people were critically injured, 8 people passed away, and 45 were sent to the hospital. 53 farm workers are being transported to go to a seminar of some sort. An F-150 sideswaped the bus. The bus sideswaped an F-150 at 5 p.m. and it flipped and everything. And so 8 people passed away, like I said, and 45 people went to the hospital. And everyone was under investigation. And it turns out that right after I ended up doing all the information for this, they ended up arresting the bus driver for being drunk. So now the bus driver is facing 8 counts of manslaughter. And before, we just thought it was an accident. They just thought it was an accident, and now it has turned into a manslaughter because he was drunk.
I think for things like this, when it comes to flying planes, driving buses, driving anything or flying anything that has passengers, you know what I'm saying? They should have to do like a breathalyzer or something before they get behind the wheel.
I don't care if you've never had alcohol in your life. You
this should be a daily
before
thing.
that whole turn off.
Yeah,
I need to know. I need to know because too much crazy shit is happening. Like the plane, when the guy was on the plane and he tried to open up the door while the pilot was flying, and he was a pilot. They were taking him to his plane. This dude hadn't slept in 4 fucking days and started tripping, and he had a psychotic breakdown. He tried to open up the damn plane while they taking him to a plane to go fly his shift.
That's wild.
And it's like, what if he would have never tried to open that fucking plane?
And he just would have flew his plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not. Yeah, there needs to be something in play where.
And I think when stuff like that happens, like that just goes to show you, like, in these job settings, shit goes on that people don't even know about. You don't know what type of stress these people be under, like the lack of sleep, the long shifts, the this and that. Like, it's crazy how these companies are treating their employees.
Man, facts.
And it's coming out in ways that are harming other people.
Like, I know people that drive trucks for certain people or whatever. They're like, they tell you can't sleep this long, but you also can't miss it's like, it's impossible. It's like, how am I supposed to get from A to B to C and have the adamant amount of sleep
in 2 hours?
That makes sense. Like, and then it's like, but if I had an accident, it's all on me.
Yeah.
But this doesn't make sense.
That's wild.
I couldn't do that. I could not. You're not going to have me driving up no hill of snow into the mountain.
And I done slept 45 minutes.
What? And I done had 2 15-minute breaks. No, y'all going to get y'all stuff in 7 to 10 business days because I'm just taking a nap. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to our first episode of Black News. I hope it was informative. I hope it was cool. And I hope you guys come back to see us. I am Chrissy B, your friendly neighborhood journalist, and I'm signing out. Peace.